photographs of downtown Moshi. 312. Today we meet up with Bob Anderson and Vernon Coles, as well as our guides for the trip. This is Saturday. We go over our gear and have our heart rate and oxygen levels checked. We go out in the town of Moshi for lunch at a unique restaurant where we meet the president of Tusker, our tour guide. After lunch, our tour of the bazaar, which is truly a market, is very interesting. The fruits and vegetables are beautiful. We have some beers at the restaurant, then talk about departure. We are all very excited. I take some pictures of the hotel. For dinner, we return to town where we eat at an Indian-Italian restaurant. Never eaten at one of those before. I have curry chicken, very good. We leave in the AM. When I write again, it will be on the slopes of the Great Mountain. Sunday, March 13th. I write in my tent in my sleeping bag. I am writing by the light of my headlamp. Dinner was in the mess tent, a delicious fish dish made with Nile fish. Our day began with a drive to the jumping off place for the climb located about 50 minutes from Moshi. The first day involves an uphill climb through a tropical rainforest. The only wildlife seen was a large monkey, some fire ants, and some small bats or bird. The rainforest is just like the Arboretum. Moss clings to ancient trees as the path winds onward and upward. There are a number of people on the trail with us. It rains and we get up, but we continue to move across the now slipping slope. Water is a necessity. Glad my camel is working. A camel is one of those things you put in a pack and have a tube. The knee braces are essential. Unfortunately, my knees from football days are not the best, so I have to wear knee braces on climbing mountains. My experience on the Appalachian Trail has taught me a great lesson, one from which I reap benefits as I lay snug as a bug in a rug 10,000 feet above Africa. I am truly impressed by the friendly and caring way of all who are in charge of this adventure. Our guides, cooks, and bearers are enjoying conversation outside the tent. Swahili fills the air as the lilting tones of their speech bring a sense of peace and comfort. We are now camped above the tropical rainforest. At this altitude, all is quiet otherwise, except the snoring. Right? The trek was all uphill and quite steep at times. In the AM, we leave for a 5-hour-long hike through the savannah. We're now changing the topography. What is so remarkable? Francis and Stanford, our guides, guide us up a long uphill stretch across rocks to our camp. It rains, and then the sun comes out. The weather is somewhat fickle. The whole walk to this point has been primarily uphill from beginning of the trek to this elevation. To recapture where we have come and where we are going on Sunday, which now seems light years away, we began our climb. The entrance to the park reminds you of a national park in the United States. You start by walking uphill from the very start. As you climb up the road, which is at the 12 maximum inclination on the treadmill, this is how I did my training, you are in the rainforest. Moss hangs heavy in the trees as we follow our guide. We meet people from all over the world. A group of South Africans breezes past after talking for a while about the game of cricket. Cricket is big in South Africa. My limited experience with seeing it is like observing paint dry. There are the young men from Zimbabwe who we play tag with along the way, as we do various people from Kansas City, Atlanta, Nashville, and various European countries. At times, the trail becomes quite crowded, particularly on the rock climb today, as the trail narrows and is crowded with an assortment of climbers, guides, and bearers. The lot of bearers is one that particularly impresses you. They carry large quantities of luggage on their heads and backs as they march through the grueling terrain. Bob and I discussed the need to do something for the porters. They wear shoes not made for climbing. There have been a wide variety of birds and flowers to be seen. The white-necked crow, you'll see one of those in the pictures, and the passion of Kilimanjaro, beautiful flower. We have some exciting moments along the way. Today we were crossing a rock face with the use of our hands placed on narrow ledges. All my clothes are soaking wet, so I'm sitting in the cook tent writing in the diary. We are told that tomorrow will bring some less strenuous walking in preparation for our other rock climb. Sounds like fun. There is no cell phone reception where we are now. Tuesday, March 15th, we complete the third day of trekking that takes us to over 14,000 feet and then down into the valley. We break camp at 8:30 and begin our walk. This time we pass through an area that reminds me of the area outside Lassen Park. Those who've been to Lassen Volcano in California is what I'm talking about. Large boulders litter the landscape as we climb higher and higher. We must be careful to avoid tripping on the stones. The explosion of the volcano must have been an amazing event. Once we reach our luncheon destination, we head out again. The click-click of the poles features prominently. At last, we reach the top of the rift and begin our descent to our eventual campsite. This is particularly difficult as the downhill is quite steep. A small waterfall is seen, as is the cactus-like plants indigenous only to this area. Francis and Stanford are on top of everything. Our camp sits at the base of this amazing geological feature, the Barranco Wall. Switchbacks provide access to the top. You'll see pictures of it tonight. Each day that goes by brings us new adventures. I am so grateful to be here with Bob, Bill, and Vernon. Many are gathered at the campsite, so sleeping may be difficult at first, but I am tired. Our toilet is quite interesting. Looks like a training potty in a tall tent. We call it the phone booth. You either go to make a local or long-distance call. And I will tell you that it is very difficult to make a long-distance call in the middle of the night because the toilet paper freezes. We're now at Wednesday, 3/16. We climb the Barranco Wall. This is an interesting part of the mountain climb, as there are almost vertical portions where you have to really put everything you have into the climb. At one point, you must use a notch for your feet while grasping notches in the rocks for your hands while dangling several hundred feet over the valley. Eventually, you reach the top where we take a break and then begin another trek through the valley, up and down hills, more up than down. Cactus-looking plants dot this area. We wind up camping at a site that overlooks the town of Moshi. That's where we started out. Thousands of feet below, while Mount Kilimanjaro rises behind us, a reminder of where we are going. The top does not look so far away now. Thursday, March 17th. I am continuing to write from our campsite perched on a ridge where changing weather patterns prevail. The hike has led us several thousand feet higher. It is a thoroughly interesting geological area, dotted with shale. Not as many rocks, a reminder that the smoother surface near the top is in sight. We continue to be appreciative of Francis, our chief guide, Stanford, our assistant guide, and Benson, our server. 3/18, Friday, 12 midnight. We begin our trek to the top of the mountain. This will turn out to be the supreme test. 1 foot at a time, we begin the ascent. More stones for us to climb as small headlights light the way. It is cold and gets colder. After switchback passes beneath us. My knee braces hold, but my Tusker snow pants do not. With each step, my snow pants itch lower around my ankles. We stop, and Loda, my porter, assigned to carry my pack, makes an adjustment. We now enter a swirling blizzard and are forced to put on our rain jackets over our down ski jackets. I stand there only wearing a soaking wet shirt as adjustments are made through, although unbeknownst to me, the pants are slipping down. Again. Click, click, as pole hits ground, and my pants keep dropping further to the ground. It seems there is no end to the switchbacks. Dig deep for air. You become thankful for the Diamox. That's the medicine that we took for altitude. In the distance, you hear a call high above, time and time again, as if taunting us. I wish I could personally tell the guy to stop. And then it came. My pants fell down again. Loda pulls them up again, and off we go. Click, click, pole to ground. Self-doubt, can I make it? Yes, dig deep, breath, step, 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 pants down. Finally, the porters are able to jerry-rig a rubber band around my waist that works. So much for Velcro. At last, there is a light in the storm, and we do one more switchback, and we are there. Stella Point. Clouds swirl around us thousands of feet above the African countryside. A red glow peers through the clouds, teasing us with the possibility of a look that was not to be. We yell, high five, we did it, although we spent another hour and a half getting to the top of Ruhu Peak. Clouds swirl above us as the wind buffets our coats. We are elated, we had made it. After a few minutes, we begin our trek to the highest point, Ruhu Peak. The wind cuts like a knife as we continue to ply upwards. At last, we are there. Pictures are taken as the Rotary and Ravens flags, Ravens flags are up there too, are raised, and then it is time to leave. What will be a 17-hour day of walking, 12 midnight to 7 p.m. The path down is steep and footing is difficult in soft earth. Down, down, down we go, aided by Loto, my porter. I make it through the soft material that reminds me of dog poop. At last we reach our original campsite around 12, where we eat lunch and begin the next leg of the trek. This time it will be through the high desert country, down, 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 mile after mile in a vast expanse of countryside that seems to mock us in its never-ending route. There is always the ever-present Mondo, the rescue man with the O2 tank behind us.